Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Office Hours. I hope you are doing well. I am your engineering advisor. I read mainstream science, math, and engineering news while talking about how to become an engineer in industry. And tonight, we have this article from the New York Times. Which I'm going to share with you right now. Computer science students face a shrinking big tech job market. A new reality is setting in for students and recent graduates who spent years honing themselves for careers at the largest tech companies. Well, if you can score I'm going to make this a little bigger. If you can score a big tech job, you're doing pretty good. You're doing real good. All right. So Natasha and Kaylee Wright, ever since she was a 10th grader in Seattle, Annalise Nee wanted to develop software for a prominent tech company like Google. So she went to great lengths to meet the internship and other resume criteria that make students attractive hires to the biggest tech firms. They continue. In high school, Ms. Nee took computer science courses. I didn't have any computer science courses when I was in school. They didn't offer things like that to us. Of course, I went to a public school, so there you go. She interned at Microsoft and volunteered as a coding teacher for younger students. Very cool. She majored in computer science at the University of Washington, earning coveted software engineering internships at Facebook. After graduating from college this year, she moved to Silicon Valley to start her dream job as a software engineer at Meta, Facebook's parent company. So she got a job at Facebook right after she graduated. That's pretty good. Uh, that doesn't happen often. Uh, so there are only a few companies like Meta, Facebook, obviously, right? And there are only so many jobs. Now, granted, Facebook has thousands and thousands of engineers, but not all of them are fresh graduates straight out of school. So that's impressive. They continue. Then last month, Meta laid off more than 11,000 employees, including Miss Nee. Okay. So the question is, all right. So let's as it all right, how should I put this? As an engineer in industry, your job is pretty safe. It's pretty safe. Engineers have a very low unemployment rate. Now, it depends on the type of engineering you do, but more often than not, you're going to be pretty secure in your job. Now, the way this sentence is structured, would you think that 11,000 employees would be, let's say, software engineers, or would it be maybe Miss Nee and a couple of software engineers and a whole lot of people who aren't software engineers? I can tell you from inside knowledge that at Amazon, when they were going through their layoffs in last year, they were laying off a bunch of people. Most of those jobs were not software engineering jobs. Now, a couple were, but most of them are not. Most of them were in HR. So, and here's the other side of this. Even if Miss Nee, even if she, well, obviously she was laid off, she now has on her resume that she worked at Facebook. That is gold in industry. There are going to be a lot of companies that are going to hire her, and by the way, hire you if you work for companies like Google, Facebook, Amazon. As far as I'm concerned, if you get an engineering job at Amazon, you're set for life. You are set for life. All you have to do is have Amazon on your resume. and you're good to go. All right. So the authors continue, and they quote Miss Nee. I did feel very frustrated and disappointed and maybe a bit scared because all of a sudden I didn't know what to do. Yeah, I mean, you're let go for the first time, and it feels terrible when you're let go for the first time. Yeah, that's that's not exactly a confidence booster. Uh, and so then the question is, how do you respond to that? Well, you go back to basics. You have a degree in engineering. I always like to add on computer science. It's an adjacent field. Wherever you find electrical engineers, computer engineers, software engineers, you're going to find people with degrees in computer science. They're going to be somewhere in the blend. Why? Because computer science utilizes a lot of the same type of um, methodologies. They have, or let me put it more distinctly, they have a development process. Every engineering field has a development process. Now, they can be different types of development processes, but they still have a development process. So once you acquire one development process skill set, then you can it's much easier to take on another one, and you will. When you work on industry, you'll take on multiple development processes. Some people call it the engineering process. It's a bit different than the scientific process, but uh, nonetheless, it's a valuable skill set, and you'll see elements of job descriptions that ask for development development processes. So one might be the software development process. Uh, one might be waterfall process. One might be a V process. Uh, so there are many different types of engineering processes. Sometimes people use development and engineering as synonymous terms. They actually do have different meanings, but in this case, we'll just kind of refer to them as the same thing. So, uh, so Miss Nee, 22, said of her unexpected career setback. I don't know if I would call this a setback. I'll be honest with you. This is a pretty good. Um, this is look. She got. I'm betting she got hired from. I'm betting she got hired by somebody else. And okay, I'm going to make a prediction. I haven't read this article yet, but the further I get down in the article, it's probably going to be the case that working for Facebook ended up being advantageous for her. And it was like the best thing that ever happened to her. Even getting let go was probably the best thing that ever happened to her. Right. So now, because now she didn't just work for one company. Now she has industry experience. Plus, she worked for Facebook. She has her degree, and now she's going to go work for another company, and she's going to keep aggregating industry experience. When a recruiter asks you how many years of industry experience you have, they don't care who it was with. They just want to know you have industry experience. Then the more industry experience you have, the better off you are, the more likely you'll get the job. So let's continue. She says, there's not much I could have done, especially in college, more than I already did, better than I already did. Yeah, she worked hard. She worked her butt off, and she reaped the benefits for it. Uh, and so now she's going to continue to reap the benefits of that. Plus, she'll have industry experience. Over the last decades, as the authors continue, the prospect of six-figure starting salaries, perks like free food. All right, excuse me. I'm having some worked out earlier, had some protein, so apologize for that. Regarding the six-figure starting salary, that's not common. That's a good goal, but odds are you're not going to get that because you don't have industry experience. Now, there are a couple people who will get that, but is in a distribution, a normal distribution, they're going to be the outliers, right? Most jobs, software engineering jobs, you might start at about 60 grand if you have a degree. It's probably going to be less if you don't have a degree, but 60 grand isn't bad. Y- Uh, you, that's going to work. That's more than most people make anywhere in the world. So you'll be well off to start, and your salary will grow from there. All right, so let's continue. Perks like free food and a chance to work on apps used by billions led young people to stampede toward computer science. Good, yeah, it's motivating. I'm glad to see it. The study of computer programming and processes like algorithms on college campuses across the United States. Algorithms is, oh, that sentence. Oh, yeah, algorithms. They do study algorithms in computer science and software engineering, but that's is that's like that's only one tool you learn in a large toolkit. So authors continue. The number of undergraduates majoring in the subject more than tripled from 2011 to 2021 to nearly 136,000 students, according to the Computing Research Association, which tracks computing degrees at about 200 universities. Yeah, it's growing because one, there are more programs. Two, there are more people interested in. Three, there's more demand in the market. There's probably several reasons why that's growing. Okay. Tech giants like Facebook, Google, and Microsoft encourage the computing education boom, promoting software jobs to students as a route to lucrative careers and the power to change the world. Okay. If you're an engineer, you are closest to having an effect on the world, besides being a politician. Politicians have tremendous sway on what happens because they pass policies. But engineers, yeah, I would argue, and I'm absolutely being biased about this. If you want to have a positive effect on the world, you become an engineer. Now, you're going to be limited in what you can do. You're not going to be building any star destroyers for you Star Wars fans or starships for you Star Trek fans. That's not a thing at the moment. Hope maybe in the future, but you're still going to be doing some pretty cool things. Uh, you could go in the auto industry and help build cars. You can contribute to that. You can go in agriculture and help build industrial machines and contribute to that. If climate change is important for you, that's a real good way to go. You go in the financial industry and and work with cloud technology, building infrastructure. So there's a lot of opportunity to be able to have a positive effect on the world while making a pretty good living and contributing to society. In my opinion, it's the best way to go. As the article continues, but now layoffs, hiring freezes, and planned recruiting slowdowns at Meta, Twitter, Alphabet, Amazon, DoorDash, Lyft, Snap, and Stripe are sending shockwaves through a generation of computer and data science students who spent years honing themselves for careers at the largest tech companies. Uh, I would assert those shockwaves, to use this language, is mostly generated through the media. The media has their business model. Um, they need to generate revenues in order to stay in business. Now, it is the case that these companies are laying off people, implementing hiring freezes. They're not recruiting as many people. Probably, sure, yeah, but who are those people? Right? This article doesn't say that. Who are these people? Right? Are these the people who are building their products? No, they're not those people. Not those people. Now, it maybe maybe a couple people, yeah, okay, but it also depends on where you're at in the company. Um, but if you're an engineer and you get laid off by Facebook because Facebook is reducing its staff, you're easily going to go find a job someplace else. more so than if you're like a recruiter or you're in HR. You're going to have a tough time if you're in one of those industries, because when the market's down, the market's down, and you're going to be probably unemployed for a very long time. But when you are when you have a skill set like software engineering and computer science, you'll pick up a job pretty quickly. So it continues. Tech executives have blamed a faltering global economy for the jobs slowdown. Okay. The cutbacks have not only sent recent graduates scrambling to find new jobs, but also created uncertainty for college students seeking high paying summer internships at large consumer tech companies. All right. Okay. So there are only so many of those jobs. Now, I mean, yeah, if you can get one of those, go get one of those jobs. Let me read this again. The cutbacks have not only sent recent graduates scrambling to find new jobs, but also created uncertainty for college students seeking high paying summer internships at large consumer tech companies. All right. Let's if you're in school, if you're in college just to get one of those jobs, that's probably the wrong motivation. That's probably the wrong way to look at it. Let me put it this way. That's not the optimal way to look at it. When you're in school, have a job, but expect not to make a lot of money. Why? Because most of your time is being focused on study, study, or rather studying, studying, and studying. That's your job while you're in school. If you can find an internship, great. I knew a guy who got an internship at NASA twice. I don't know what he's doing in the industry now. I have no idea what he's doing. Maybe he's working there, maybe he's not. I don't know. And he's never told me. So, yeah, you could get an internship at one of these large companies, and that'd probably help you. That would probably help you, but most people don't get that. So, thinking more long term and thinking about the steps you need to take in order to be successful in industry, that's that's the pathway. That's the pathway to success. To this, when I read this, this sounds like shiny object syndrome. Everybody wants a Ferrari. Everybody wants a Ferrari, but do you really want a Ferrari? All right. Let your skills speak for themselves. All right, so let's continue. In the past, tech companies use their internship programs to recruit promising job candidates, extending offers to many students to return as full-time employees after graduation. Yeah, it does happen. I've seen this. It doesn't happen all the time, and it's not a guarantee. Company could change their mind. Sometimes they'll change their mind. Doesn't even it has nothing to do with you. It's again, or maybe I haven't said this already, but I should say this. It's not always about you. Sometimes companies just make decisions for different reasons because they make company decisions. I mean, who knows? Most of us don't even know why they make those decisions. If you haven't worked for a company, just wait until you work for a company. You'll find this out. All right. So, but this year, those opportunities are shrinking. Are they? Are they? I feel like there should be some sort of link in here. And I feel like with some of these links, they might just be linking to other articles that they wrote. So it might just be self reinforcement, but we'll see. All right. Amazon, for instance, hired about 18,000 interns this year. Yeah, they'll probably only keep a couple of those. Paying some computer science students nearly 30,000 for the summer. That's pretty good. That's really good money. That's super good money. Let me turn this up a little. It's probably down too far. All right. The company is now considering reducing the company. Okay. So it says not including housing stipends. The company is now considering reducing the number of interns for 2023 by more than half, said a person with knowledge of the program who was not authorized to speak publicly. Okay. Companies do that. It goes up and down. And by the way, companies will anticipate markets. They're also looking at the market to see how the market is behaving. They're looking at their generated revenues year to year. They're keeping an eye on that. They're also keeping an eye on the market. They're also keeping an eye on what other companies are doing. They're also changing their business model. Facebook has changed its business model a few times. So they've purchased other companies. Facebook, Meta, whatever you want to call it. Meta is not the same company that Facebook was when it first started. So companies change and they respond. They respond to market forces just like anybody else. Brad Glasser, an Amazon spokesman, said the company was committed to its internship program and the real world experience that it provided. A Meta spokeswoman referred to a letter to employees from Mark Zuckerberg, the company's chief executive, announcing the company's layoffs last month. Again, where are these layoffs coming from? Interns. Interns are interns. They're not full-time employees. Um, my, I suspect there might be a bit of conflating here with internships and full-time employees. Interns, the company is not obligated to bring interns back. They are not obligated to do that at all. Now they could tell you to your face that sure, yeah, we'll invite you back, but it doesn't mean they're going to invite you back. And by the way, companies, even if you're a full-time employee, companies can let you go for whatever reason. They don't have to give you a reason. So let's continue. Let's continue this. Hiring plans are also changing at smaller tech firms. Roblox, Roblox, it's an interesting name. The popular game platform said it planned to hire 300 interns for next summer, almost twice as many as this year, and was expecting more than 50,000 applicants for those spots. Yeah, not surprised. Redfin, which employed 38 interns this summer, said it had canceled the program for next year. Again, what's lacking here is what type of company is Roblox? What type of company is Redfin? Now I know what kind of company Redfin is. But what type of the business model and the needs of the companies will influence these decisions. That's why, as a student who wants to become an intern, need to be flexible on where you're going. Always have a lot of different options on the table, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Companies do the same thing. You need to do the same thing. There are still good jobs for computing students, and the field is growing. Between 2021 and 2031, employment for software developers and testers is expected to grow 25%. Yeah, exactly. Amounting to more than 411,000 new jobs, according to projections from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. But many of these jobs are in areas like finance and the automotive industry. But what? But what? But what? But many of these jobs are in areas like, we can't go with those jobs. Ooh, finance industry, auto industry, automotive industry. Ooh. All right. Maybe the finance industry. Maybe I'll give them that. But the automotive industry, are you kidding me? No. A software engineering job. If you had the choice of, look, if you came into my office and you said EngineerIDE, well, you can call me Doc. How about that? You can call me Doc. I said, Doc, I have these three internships and from these three industries, and they all said yes. And I said, okay, all right, my student, which industries are they? And you said, well, one's in social media, Facebook. One is in finance. It's with, let's say, US Bank. And one is in the automotive industry. I say, okay, all software engineering jobs. And you said, yes, all software engineering jobs. I would tell you, I would ask the question, okay, which one you leaning towards? And you would probably say social media. And I would say, well, why? Why social media? Well, you would say, well, that's because everyone else wants to work at Facebook. And I'd say, well, That means you should go work in the automotive industry. Of course, I was going to tell you that anyway, because the automotive industry has been around since 1908. And how many times has the automotive industry changed based off of market forces? How wide and diverse is the automotive industry? I mean, the automotive industry hasn't even started on electric vehicles yet. That's a good skill set. Working in the automotive industry, you will always work. You will always work. There are skill sets in the automotive industry, which I would argue are much more extensive and much more market durable, which means you're pretty much going to get to as close to guaranteeing that you will never be unemployed with certain skill sets in the automotive industry for engineers. I'm telling you right now, I can't say that. I absolutely cannot say that for social media companies, but I can say that for the automotive industry. And by the way, the skill sets you learn in automotive industry, you're also going to be able to utilize those skill sets in the agricultural industry, in the aerospace industry, in the military industry. Just providing you with a landscape view of what's going on here. This article might be about one thing, but it just glossed over something extremely important. But let's continue. Maybe they'll surprise me. Students are, and they quote, students are still getting multiple job offers. Yeah, good, said Brent Winkleman, chief of staff for the computer science department at the University of Texas at Austin. They just may not come from Meta, from Twitter, or from Amazon. They're going to come from places like GM, Toyota, and Lockheed. Yeah, yeah. Get Lockheed on your resume. Yeah, yeah. Do that. Do that. Again, like I was saying, GM, Toyota, they're both in the auto industry. Lockheed, aerospace, defense. There are skill sets that that cross pollinate. That there are skill sets that you can use in both of those industries. You can bounce back and forth with the same skill set. And I know I'm not giving you the specific skill set right now, but trust me when I say this, you that's a good place to go. All right. College career centers have become sounding boards for anxious students on the cusp of entering the tech job market. I don't know why they're anxious. Okay, be excited. It's an interesting time. In career counselors' offices, the search for Plan B has heightened. Yeah, uh, you should have Plan C, Plan D, Plan E, Plan F all the way through. You should have 10 backup plans. Be prepared not to get the first one that you want. And by the way, the first five you might want, you don't get them, or you're disappointed. But then there's one that just comes out of the blue. I swear this could happen. One comes out of the blue. One job offer comes out of the blue from this company. You're looking at this company like, what? I never heard of them before. What do they do? So you go look it up. You start talking to them. All of a sudden, you find out like, yeah, this might be a great company to work for, and nobody knows about it, but they're doing some wonderful things. That's also a good way to go. That's also a good option. But that might be like not on. That not be a plan, you know, J or a plan N. That might not be on your set of plans. That might be someplace else. Just randomly comes in. That does happen. Some students are applying to lesser known tech companies. That's good. Others are seeking tech jobs outside the industry with retailers like Walmart or with government agencies and nonprofits. All right. Walmart is an industry. Government agencies and nonprofits, they are not an industry. Okay. So they got those kind of confused there. Graduate school is also an option. It is also an option. Uh, if you get a degree in computer science, software engineering, or something like that, I would head out to industry first, and then go back and get your graduate degree. Here's why. Your job will pay for it. If your job wants you to go back and they feel like you need to go back and get more education, they're going to pay for it. So instead of dropping $60,000, $70,000 yourself, just have your company do it. All right. They quote here, this particular class has been a lot more savvy than previous classes, said Hazel Raja, Senior Director of the Career Development Office at Pomona College in Claremont, California. Even though even those who have secured job offers, they're still making sure they're networking and staying engaged in campus recruiting opportunities. That's good. You should do that. Network. Toastmasters. Go to Toastmasters. Now, that's a different type of networking, but Toastmasters will teach you how to speak in front of groups. It will teach you how to network with people there. It will hone your ideas and what you're trying to do. So you'll introduce yourself, you'll talk about yourself, but then they'll ask the question, yeah, but who do you want to work for? Right? They'll help you hone in on that, and they'll help you be able to they'll help you be able to develop a a 30-second elevator speech. Although you should really do it in 7 seconds. But that's a part of your business skills. You don't need to go to business school to get those skills. Go to school, get your computer science degree, but learn those business skills while you're in college and then after college. Learn how to network. LinkedIn's one way to do it. A lot of people get jobs from LinkedIn. Uh, Another way to do it is join join engineering clubs on campus. I know engineers who still participate in their engineering clubs from their former school. And by the way, it's also what helped them get the job where they're currently at. And they also help those students coming into the company. So that's also a really good opportunity, a really good strategy that you can implement. So Helen Dong, 21, is senior majoring in computer science at Carnegie Mellon University. Interned at Meta twice in 2021 and 2022. So she was surprised at the end of this summer, she said, when she did not receive a job offer from the company. Now, if she would have been listening to office hours, she would have known that that would have happened and she wouldn't have been surprised. Right? Again, just because you intern someplace doesn't mean they're obligated to bring you back. It doesn't mean they're obligated to make you an offer. They will go their own way. Probably more likely than not, they're going to go their own way. So she was surprised at the end of the summer, she said, when she did not receive a job offer from the company. Meta's recent layoffs prompted her to apply for jobs outside tech at automotive, good, and financial companies. Let me say this about financial companies. They have a lot of money, obviously, right? If you can find yourself a good niche in a financial company, then you'll be there for a long time and they won't let you go. Probably a good place to go would be infrastructure, software infrastructure. That would be a good place to go. Uh, Data science, maybe. You want to get something closer to where you are actually building things, building structures, right? In this case, software infrastructure is software, but it's still infrastructure. It's still a structure of some type. So you want to get closer to building a structure of some type. So Meta's recent layoffs prompted her to apply for jobs outside tech at automotive and financial companies. Last month, she posted videos on TikTok advising her peers to adjust their job expectations. Good, and you should. You should adjust your job expectations. Again, have a bunch of backup plans, and don't be surprised if something comes out of the blue, a company comes out of the blue you've never heard of and never even considered, and wants to talk to you. Stay open to that. So she says, I chose to major in computer science so that I could get a ton of offers after college and make bank. Nice. That's that's exactly what it's exactly yes. Yes. Good. Good. Good, Anakin. Good. All right. She says Miss Dong joked in one TikTok. She's joking, but she's also serious. She's seriously joking. She's serious. Yeah, of course. Don't be don't be shy over that or coy over that. You know, embrace that. I mean, that's we go into engineering fields because we know engineers make good money. That's why we do it. It's one reason. Another reason is you might want to try to make the world a better place. That's another good reason to do it. Don't force your expectations on people, and don't build something they don't want and enforce it on them. Don't do that. But be ready to meet market expectations. So as she sang along to reduce your expectations to zero. I don't know what that is. If somebody knows what that is, put that in the comments. All right. Article continues. In this job market, she wrote at the bottom of the video, be grateful with one offer. Yeah, absolutely be grateful with one offer. Yours truly got one offer. I didn't have a bunch of people knocking on my door. Nope. No, that was not the case. Sending out emails for sending out resumes for a long time, sending out resumes. Lots of fake recruiters contacted me too. It was a frustrating time, but I kept my head and eyes straight forward, and I kept marching forward. And eventually, I got an offer. So it was a good offer too. Good company. All right. So in interviews, 10 college students and recent graduates said they were not prepared for a slowdown in jobs at the largest tech companies. Well, that wouldn't have been a big deal if they would have been prepared, if they would have been open to looking at other companies. It's this focus on the shiny object. That's what this is. Oh, I want to go work at one of the FANG companies, right? Um, I want to go look at Google. I want to go work at Facebook. I want to go work at Amazon. I want to go work at Apple. Right? These are these FANG companies. I mean, that's nice, but there are a lot of other jobs out there. A lot of companies that need engineers, and they're always hiring. Remember, even in down markets, there are companies hiring engineers. You just need to find those jobs, but you need to be open to those jobs too. Excuse me. So until recently, those companies were fiercely competing to hire computer science majors at top schools, with some students receiving multiple job offers with six-figure starting salaries and five-digit signing bonuses. An entire genre of TikTok videos had sprung up dedicated to young techies extolling their job perks and their annual compensation, with at least one highlighting a $198,000 package. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Complete with stock options and relocation expenses. Yeah, those big companies can afford to do that. Now, should I say this? I'll just pose this question. If that person gets $198,000, does that mean they're the best engineer in the room? I'm just going to pose the question. I'm not even going to answer it. So, dozens of people who were recently laid off or whose tech job offers were rescinded have posted details of their plights on LinkedIn. To alert recruiters, some have added the hashtag open to work to their LinkedIn profile photos. Tony Shi, 23, who majored in computer science and business at Western University in London, Ontario, is one of them. After graduating this year, he began working as a product manager at Lyft in August. In November, the ride hailing company laid off about 650 employees, including Mr. Shi. Okay. Interesting. Those companies must be readjusting. Yeah, like I said earlier, companies are going to readjust to the market. They're going to follow market forces. And so when it one of the things that happened at Amazon recently, and this was more in HR, not in their engineering jobs, more in HR. They had, because the market was good, and because they had the money budgeted for those areas. They hired a lot of people that they were probably doubling, tripling up on certain positions. That makes sense. So, in other words, in a normal circumstance, maybe you need one person for the job, maybe two people for the job, right? That would share duties. But in this case, they might be hiring four, six, maybe six people. So it means they have a lot more people doing a smaller amount of work. And so they end up laying people off for that. Maybe that's a bit too refined for the accountants. Maybe the accountants know that. Uh, maybe Lyft decided to go in a different direction. Maybe, okay, so Tony Shi, he's a product manager. Maybe Lyft discontinued that product, right? It was a product that I don't know what product it is, because they don't mention that in an article. But my suspicion is that's the product that they decided to discontinue. So, whereas what do they do with Mr. Shi, with Tony here? Well, Tony, because he doesn't have anything to work on anymore, and his team, and they don't have any other duties to allocate to them, well, the company's not going to continue to pay their paycheck or pay their salary. That's another thing. So here's another interesting insight with these with these types of jobs. When you talk to your managers, when do you talk to your supervisors, ask them, what's the next product after this? What's the next product after that? What's the next product after that? If they're telling you, if they're providing you with so much information, like for example, okay, well, your manager, your supervisor says, yeah, we have this product, and after this one, we have this one planned, and then after this one, we have this one planned. And then look at the product that came before that one. If that product, the one that came before the one you're working on, is making money out in industry, then you're probably going to keep your job for a long time. Because look at the product that was out in industry, then look at the product you're currently working on. Are they similar or the same products? If they are, that's a good sign, especially if the product before yours was making money, or is still continuing to make money, right? You're making the next generation. But what happens after that, right? Look at, when you're on a team, look at how long that technology has been used for. That'll give you some insight into how long, or what your job prospect looks like with that company for the foreseeable future. If you can see 6 to 8 years out, you're good. You're gold. All right. Always know if the product you're working on, software or hardware product, is the product that's making money in the market. All right. So let's continue this. Now he is on a tight, still talking about Tony, is on a tight deadline to find a new job. Mr. Shi is Canadian from Waterloo, Ontario, and obtained a visa to move to San Francisco for his job at Lyft. Under the visa, he has 60 days to find a new job. He said he had become more sensitive to the businesses and balance sheets of potential employers. And they're quoting Tony here. I need to be a little more risk averse. I definitely don't want to get laid off again, he said. Instead of his taking a company for its word, he added, now the product needs to make a lot of sense. It's exactly what I'm just saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. The product makes sense if it's making money. If a product came before it and it made money, then the product makes sense. What's coming after it? Oh, we have this other product, the next generation after that. This is what the company's doing for the foreseeable future, right? Ask, find out, is your product going to be built in other markets, right? Or is it just being used in one market? So that's where the product makes sense, right? It makes sense as in terms that that's job security. Some recent graduates did not get the chance to start their new tech jobs. Rachel Castellino a statistics major at the California Polytechnic State University, worked to land a job at a major tech company. During college, she interned as a project manager at PayPal. Interned as a project manager. Do interns work as project managers at big companies? I don't. I don't know about that. All right, we'll continue. I don't think that's true, but okay, we'll continue. I've never seen that before. Received a data science fellowship funded by the National Science Foundation and founded a data science club at her school. Miss Castellino, 22, knew she would have to grind to pass companies' technical interviews, which typically involve solving programming problems uh, for at least 8 to 10 um, uh, I had a joke there, but I lost my train of thought. I was gonna make a joke. I was gonna make a joke, and people are gonna be mad at me. Why do I have to take 10 of those? No, some companies will make you do that, but then there's some companies that will make you take a technical interview at all. They won't. A lot of times, companies will do that in order to uh, get people to quit. Companies hiring managers hire people for three reasons, and it's not because you pass a technical interview. It has nothing to do with that. One, can they afford you? Two, do they think you can do the job? And three, do they think you'll stay? Those are the three reasons why they would hire you. Technical interviews. I had a friend who did a technical interview of Facebook, and this guy's a smart dude, and a lot of degrees. And he went through the interview. Is in the interview process. He told me, and he got to the point where they're like, "Yeah, we're going to have you do this technical interview." And he's like, "No, I'm not going to do that. Just no." No, no, no. Oh, why not? It's like, no, it's a waste of my time. Either you think I fit or you don't, right? I did all this schooling and now you want me to do some technical interview. So my opinion, technical interviews are dumb and they don't really say anything about what type of job you'll be able to do. I just don't. I think it's more of an application of trying to get people to wash out. Who can put up with the most. They just want to find out who can put up with the most. And by the way, if you don't like technical interviews, you probably don't want to work at a company who wants you to take a technical interview to get the job. And there are a lot of companies out there that won't make you do that. They just won't. So, but you're gonna have to dig for those. You're gonna have to go and find those. All right. So they said last year she spent much of the fall job hunting and preparing for coding assignments. For 4 days a week, from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., she studied probability concepts and programming languages. Even so, she said the interview process was brutal. In November 2020, Meta offered her, so you went through the Meta process. Huh? All right, so she did it. Okay. Meta offered her a job as a data scientist starting in December 2022. Last month, Meta rescinded the offer. Oh, no. Oh, no. 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 She did. Oh, no. 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 I studied exactly 0 hours for interview for technical interviews. I studied exactly 0 hours. I don't think I took one. I just wasn't interested. That's probably it's probably why it took me longer to get a job. But I'll be honest with you, I wasn't interested in taking one of those. After all the schooling I did, nah, no. And does it make a difference? No, it doesn't make a difference when you get to your job. What'll make a difference is how can you what type of team player are you? Do you get along with your team? Do you try to get along with your team? Do you talk to your teammates? What's your relationship with your boss? Right? What's your relationship with adjacent engineering teams? Are you willing to get your hands dirty? Right? Are you willing to do things? Just do things without them having to tell you to do it. Those are the things that make a difference in your job. Not a technical interview. That's too bad. That's terrible. That's horrible. All right. So she says, I worked so hard for those interviews. I bet she did. I bet she busted her butt. I bet she busted her butt. It felt really good to earn something of a high caliber, she said. I had so much to look forward to. She did. She really did. The setback has been disheartening. Yeah, it sucks. I was upset, she said. It wasn't good to hear. Yeah. Yeah. There's lots of stories about so the joke I've heard is, and it's not really a joke, it's true, that people will have to they'll have to go through like 10 interviews to get the job. They don't even get the job. Like they'll have to take technical interviews, they'll have to do presentations, they'll have to do all these things. If you have a LinkedIn account and you have fairly let's say a good amount of recruiters in your network, you'll hear these stories. They talk about these stories. Some recruiters are don't like it, but I don't see things changing. So, and I don't know how much power recruiters have for this stuff. So all right. So as for Miss Nee, she now views losing her job as an opportunity to broaden her career horizons. Over the last month, she has applied to mid-sized tech firms. Good. And startups that she finds innovative. Good, 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 good. Potential employers she had not previously considered. I'm exploring opportunities that I didn't before, Miss Nee said. I feel like I've already learned some things. Good, good. Well, all right. And that's the point of this, right? One, don't follow the shiny object, right? These big tech companies. You just saw with who is this? Who is this young lady? She does all this studying. She goes through all this hard work. She busts her butt. They give her an offer and then they rescind it. By the way, the a company is under no obligation to to follow through on that. They can rescind whenever they want. Remember, I said they're under no obligation to hire you after they've given you multiple internships, and they're under no obligation to hire you, even if they make the offer. No obligation. In no universe are they obligated. That's just not a thing. And you don't want them to. You don't want to force them to do it. That's not a good idea. There are consequences for forcing people to do stuff like that. That's not the world you want to live in. You want to take your punches, and keep moving forward. That's what you want to do. If Be malleable, make sure you can work through adversity. If you're willing to work hard, like these students, if you're willing to work hard, you're willing to put the time and effort into it, then you can take no. You can take rejection. It's not the end of the world. Rejection's a part of life. There there is no easy path. Well, there is an easy path. Actually, there is an easy path. You can be lazy and not work hard. I mean, that's the easy path, but you're going to suffer. You're not going to be stable in your life. You're always going to be wondering where the next paycheck is going to come from. Or you can sacrifice. You can sacrifice with your education, right? As David Goggins, my favorite quote by David Goggins, on the other side of suffering is greatness, right? So take these things, take these things seriously, right? Don't have unreasonable expectations. Um, let's see here. Stop screen share. All right. Don't expect these companies to follow through. Be happy when they follow through, but don't expect them to follow through. That's just not. It's not a good way to approach this. You want to make sure that um, you get all your ducks in order. You work hard. You want to have plan A, plan C, all the way through plan Z, and then you want to make sure And then make sure you don't expect anybody to give you anything or the follow through. And also, don't be surprised if something comes out of the woodwork, or a company comes out of the woodwork and says, "Hey, we're really interested in your skill set. We're interested in you. Would you like to have a conversation with us?" Don't turn that down. Take that. Because remember, the hardest thing after going through these programs, computer science, software engineering, engineering in general, the hardest thing is getting a job out in industry. Once you get a job out in industry, the first job, it'll be easier to get the second. If you stay at a job for 20 years, great. If you stay at a job for 5 years, great. There are people that I know of that would go get jobs at Raytheon. They work there for a year, get Raytheon on their resume, and they go someplace else. Right? That might not be a bad idea. If you can get a job at Facebook, go work at Facebook for a year and then go get a job someplace else. Right? If you like the company and you know there's going to be a lot of work, like I was talking about earlier, there's going to be a lot of work in the future, and that seems very likely, like there's a high probability that's going to happen, then stay at that job. But if you're kind of getting the feeling that things may not work out long term, don't be afraid to go out in the market. You already have the skill set. You have some job, you have some industry experience. You've already taken care of the important things. Now take advantage of that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. These companies uh, aren't afraid to uh, uh, to not follow through on offers. So don't be afraid to expand your horizons, to expand your opportunities. Don't be afraid to do that. All right. Well, that's all I got for today. I'll see you Thursday night. Office hours every Monday night, 7:30 Central. Every Thursday night, 7:30 Central. I might be doing an extra couple here over the next couple weeks, but we'll see. I got some stuff lined up. Uh, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, comments down below. I'll be covering different topics. I'm gonna try to stay on science and engineering news, uh, stuff like that, and then just give you my perspectives as I go through these articles. So there's a lot of people. I don't ever see a lot of people talking about engineering industry through through the eyes of an actual engineer who works out in industry. So it's probably valuable for you, instead of going out and looking for, I need to go out to some company, and which is probably a good idea. You should probably meet engineers at other companies and talk to them and see if you can follow them for a day and see what it's like. But you can also come here, and you'll probably take a couple things away each day when I talk about something. Because remember, I'm reading this, and then there's things are popping in my head as I go. And I'm also trying to produce this and do everything else at the same time. So I'll get better as I go as well. And then once I start getting comments and feedback, it'll go from there. Things will definitely start to get a lot more interactive. So thanks again. I'm We'll say Doc. You can call me Doc. I'm Doc, and this is Engineer IDE. This is Office Space. Have a wonderful night, and I will see you Thursday night. Be safe. Study hard. Study, study, study.